Welcome to the CBS Eye on Money show. It is Thursday, April 7th, and we are here to try to convince everyone listening that money is not scary, it is not boring, it does not say anything about how good or bad you are, it's just a means to an end. And the show is about you. Your questions make this all possible. For me and for my co-host and executive producer, Mark Talercio, you make it possible for us to provide you with unconventional and hopefully entertaining insights on your money and your life. Mark, would you say that we can switch off being good cop, bad cop? So who do you want to be, the good cop or the bad cop today?
I'm going for good.
You're always good. You know, I feel like sometimes I have to be the vice principal and Mark's the principal. Mark's the magnanimous principal who says to the parents like, oh, yeah, she's such a good kid. And I'm like, yeah, but she misbehaves in class, you know? So I have to sometimes hold you accountable to the things you want to do. This is not about me, right? This is about you guys. So if you've got a financial question, if you've got something going on in your life, if you need another set of eyes and ears, or two sets in this case, all you need to do is go to jillonmoney.com and click the Contact Us button. You'll complete the form. You'll let us know whether or not you want to come on the air with us. So right now we've got Kim from DC. What can we do for you?
So Jill, my husband and I are discussing what to do about our living situation. You should
keep living. That's what I think you should do.
Yeah,
keep living.
Right. We're just juggling a lot of priorities right now.
Okay.
I don't know if we're being too conservative with our choices or if we're being prudent.
Okay. So Kim, tell us a little bit about yourselves. How old are you?
I'm 39.
How old is husband?
He's 41.
You have kids?
We have 2.
How old are they?
They are 15 and 9.
Living situation, you said. So you own a home now?
We just sold our primary residence. So we had an apartment right in downtown DC that we just sold. So we have the proceeds from that in a savings account right now.
Okay. How much are the proceeds?
$150.
And what are you going to do? Rent for a while?
We're renting, yes.
Just tell me what you're renting so I can try to put this in the frame of like what it would be comparing to for a house. So how much are you paying in rent?
We're paying $2,500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the suburbs, so it's a bit cheaper out here. And we have an 1,100 square foot 2-bedroom apartment.
Is that like teeny with 2 kids, or is that okay with 2 kids? How does it feel?
It's more space than we had downtown.
You were downtown and now are you trying out the burbs? Like, I'm kind of intrigued by this. Like, or was it someone offered us a boatload of money for our place, let's just do it?
We wanted to qualify for in-state tuition for college because our 15-year-old will be going to college in just over 2 years.
So you're in one of those suburbs, either a Maryland or a Virginia suburb.
Right.
Okay, got it. So are you going to buy a house? Like, what's the game plan?
Eventually, we're renting for the next year. We just moved in here. So that's locked down for that time period. But then eventually we would like to buy again. We're just not sure what size mortgage we should get on our income. And our income is still going up. We expect it to go up in the next 2 years. So we might want to wait until that happens to make a decision versus making that determination off of what we're bringing in now. And then, of course, our son going off to college and tackling that.
Kim, how much do you earn and how much do you guys earn together?
We earn $270.
And are you both contributing to retirement plans?
Yes.
Okay. Maxing out like $20,500 a year?
Well, we can't do that. So my husband is a highly compensated employee. He works for a business that has about 1,000 employees, but there's very low plan participation. So
do you know why? Because his cheapo employer has to give a match and then they'll be able to boost participation.
Yeah, they do give a match.
And they still can't get participation up?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. I won't ask too many questions. I don't want to be exposing you. So how much can he put away? Not 20,500, but what, like 10, 12?
14.
But you're maxing yours out.
I don't have a workplace retirement plan, so I have been using IRAs.
Oh, you work for an organization that doesn't offer a plan, or are you self-employed?
I'm self-employed. So I do have a solo 401k. it's small because I just started it a few years ago. I learned about it listening to your show. And then
Oh, awesome.
we do our IRAs.
So if you look at your 270, he's putting 14 in the 401k. Are you both putting money into IRAs? Are you doing 6,000 each?
Yes.
Okay. And how much are you also doing in the solo 401k?
It's been about 5 to 10,000
Okay.
for the year.
You have these two kids. Are you saving for college as well?
Yes.
What do you got? 529 plans?
They each have a 529 plan. Yes.
Okay. How much is in each of them? 15-year-old has how much?
Let's see. He has 115 in his. The 9-year-old has 90 in his.
Okay, this is fantastic. All right. What's the balance in all the retirement plan stuff? Do you have just sort of a ballpark number for what you have saved?
Right. So I just started a taxable brokerage account that I consider a retirement account just in case we can't do backdoor Roths anymore.
Okay.
And I purchased some I bonds that I think of as like our bond allocation for retirement. Okay. So if I take both of those plus the others that I mentioned, we have 390 in retirement.
Great. And where are all these accounts held? Where do you have your solo and the Roths? Where is that held?
Schwab.
And you're doing it yourselves. You don't have an advisor.
Correct.
Okay, good. All right. Now let's move on. What are we going to do about this house situation? Because I feel like $2,500 is actually pretty cheap. How much would it cost you to buy the home that you would want? Let's just, and again, you said it's at least a year from now. It could be 2 years from now. But what are we looking at in terms of a home in the future?
I think ideally, the mortgage size would be 600 to 650. We could bring it down from there if we went out a little bit further, if that's too much. Okay. So that's kind of where I'm coming down now. I'm looking at that size mortgage and that scares me.
I know. I'm scared for you.
Yeah.
And that would be like, are you thinking like you would have whatever, an $800,000 or $900,000 house?
Right.
Would you be willing to rent for longer?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, what's the projected income increase that's on the horizon?
Yeah. So we have that you guys make $270,000 together. What do you think in 2 years that we're looking at in terms of income?
Probably in the 325 to 340 range.
Mark, what do you think about this whole housing dilemma for these guys?
Well, I was just running some numbers. I mean, if they had a $650,000 mortgage, I'm just saying, 4% interest rate, it's about a $3,100 a month payment.
Wait. Don't run it at 4%. Run it at 5%.
Yeah, on a $650,000 loan,
right.
It's about $3,500.
How do you feel about that $3,500 a month in just principal and interest? That's not homeowners, taxes. That's a jump up. How do you feel about that?
I think it would be a stretch right now, and I would be nervous about it interfering with our other goals.
So the goals are, let's pull this out. You want to educate these kids. You want to retire at some point. What else is another goal?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. So do you like my retirement at some point? Are yeah. Either of you, I'm presuming you're not, is your husband entitled to any pension?
No.
All right, Mark, what do you want to do? I mean, actually, the 529 plans are great. You said in-state because that was the whole point of moving to a place. What's the in-state tuition for 15-year-old-ish?
So assuming that tuition and fees stay about where they are now in 2 years, it should be about 125.
So you've got enough saved for 15-year-old, basically. I mean, you got to throw 10 grand in, but big deal, right? Okay. And so for the 9-year-old, you'd have to throw a little bit of extra money in there, but not too much more because that money will grow. So it feels like in your two goals, you're really set. The college is good. Mark, what do you think about the retirement where we are?
Well, I was going to ask, based on the current rent payment and all your other monthly expenses after you guys make your retirement contributions and 529 contributions, what's the cash flow looking like right now on a monthly basis?
It varies. We're saving. We generally spend about $7,500 a month, and our savings per month will vary $4,000 to $6,000 a month.
That's good.
That's a lot.
That's amazing. If you've got $4,000 or $6,000 a month, then you can actually afford the house. It's scary, but like you could do that right now. I'm kind of leaning towards you putting more money into this 401k also.
Are you doing a Roth solo or a pre-tax solo?
I'm doing pre-tax solo.
I mean, either way, I mean, I would probably do Roth, but either way, even if you are doing pre-tax, like I would max that out completely before you do the IRA contribution because you can put away $20,500
Yeah,
in the Roth
I'd
in the
rather,
solo.
and we'd rather you do that. And you have the cash flow to do it. Okay, big picture. I think that what we'd like for you guys to be able to do is both of you to be able to put away $20,000 or so into your retirement accounts. Your husband can't. So he's doing 14 plus the back door. You should definitely do max out the 401k, your solo 401k. You really should. It's super easy to do it. And then with your extra cash flow, you can do so much more. I think that you can probably afford the house in a year. So that means those proceeds from the house cannot go anywhere. But my big question to you is, what are you going to do to get the down payment if you say, if you're going to buy a $900,000 house, you got 150 in proceeds. What else do you have that's floating around that could help give you a down payment on a $900,000 house?
So part of the reason we're renting for a year is we also own a townhome in the far out suburbs that's not commutable to the city that is a rental. We could sell
Buried
that
the lead.
as well.
Buried the lead on me. Thanks a lot. Made me sound like a dum-dum. Okay, Kim, how much is the townhouse worth?
It's worth $330 and we owe $195.
Did one of you live here? I mean, how did you come upon this?
Well, it was before the market crash in 2008. My husband lived there by himself. He bought really, really young and it was a bad idea. So he's basically just floated it down and floated it back up.
Okay, so he's got 135 grand in equity, you guys have, and some of that would get eaten up with taxes. So there's essentially, are you going to sell it? Is that a done deal? Or is it are you guys on board with that?
Yes, if we buy another place, we will sell that.
All right, so Mark, here's what we got. We got the 150 with you're going to have to recapture some stuff. Has it been a legit rental, like you've been depreciating it on your tax returns, et cetera?
Yes.
So let's just say you'll have 250 to put down. I'm just going to take 100 grand out of this. So you have 150 from the proceeds of primary. You have 100 grand from this. It'll probably be more than that. But let's just say you've got $250,000 down payment, right? Then you get that mortgage of your 650, right? And now we've got your mortgage at $3,500 a month. And I think you can do this. How are the taxes in the place that you are living? Is it a high tax area? I imagine so, because usually people move to places that have good schools with high tax area, which is a high tax area.
It's probably considered a high tax area. I don't know any different because I've always lived here. So
Okay. I feel fine about this. And by the way, I mean, in a year from now, the market could be different, but you can't invest the proceeds from the primary residence till we figure out the house thing. You can do this in a year. Mark, are you okay with this in a year?
Of course, given their current monthly cash flow plus the projected increase in salary, having this mortgage is not going to be a problem and they'll still be able to save for retirement.
Yeah. So I'm sort of feeling like I would rather you think about doing this sooner rather than later. I think rates are going to be drifting higher. And by the way, if it's a place you want to live, I thought you were moving just to test it out and make sure you like it. If I presume you like it and it's going okay, then start looking. In 6 months, start looking. Okay. In the meantime, you got the money, the proceeds, you're in good shape. You should be maxing out your 401k. I think you can do this. I totally think you can do this. You're saving a lot of money. I mean, and your expenses, $7,500 a month is not a lot in expenses for people who are making your income in a high cost of living area like the DC suburbs.
Okay. And I did want to ask one question about the retirement savings.
Okay.
As I plan, I sort of set a goal for us by the end of the year to save about $40,000. Does that sound like an appropriate target for us?
Yeah, 40 to 50,000, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And you're good. You got plenty of money. You're in great shape.
Once your husband's putting in his 14 and he's doing 6 in the IRA and you're maxing out your solo, then you can really turn your attention to the brokerage account.
Exactly. And then and the only reason why I would say that is that you might as well do as much saving right now as you can, and you can make it liquid and you'll have availability. And look, probably their biggest issue is going to be finding a home because of the lack of inventory. But I do think as interest rates start to drift up, I do think that more people there is going to be some more inventory. I think that the whole scramble to buy a house is like going to start to moderate a little bit in the next, year or two. I really do. You sound sort of nervous, and stressed, and I wish you weren't, because I think you're okay. I really do. You don't seem convinced. What can I do to convince you? I really want you to feel a little bit better about this.
I am convinced. It makes me feel a lot better to hear you say that. It's just a weird feeling because we've made compromises for so long. And I think when you do that, sometimes you get complacent with making compromises, and it's really hard to take the leap.
I feel good about it. I really do. Okay, let's do some down and dirty. You guys have some life insurance on one another?
Yes.
How much?
So it's a little lopsided because my husband out earns me. So he has $2 million and I have $700,000.
How about estate plan?
Yes, we've done that.
You got wills and all that stuff. Do you have any parents who you think you might have to take care of, or siblings or anything like that?
No.
Oh, you are self-employed. Do you have disability insurance?
I do, yes.
All right. Isn't it expensive?
It is.
I was just looking at my own disability insurance because I'm now old. Mark, I had to almost remind myself, Jesus, you're almost 60. Maybe you don't need to pay for the disability. And then I realized all those people who canceled their policies within 5 years of retirement, and they always get sick. Something horrible happens. So I won't let it happen to myself. But it is expensive, right?
Because you don't want to jinx yourself.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
No good cop, bad cop today, Jill.
No,
Both good cops.
Two good cops.
This is like Chips, an episode of Chips.
Oh my God. Exactly right. I never watched that show, but I know what it is. So, all right, Kim from DC, don't drive yourself crazy looking right now, because you are a year away from doing this, right? So you're familiarizing yourself with the market, get in touch with the neighborhoods that you like, all that stuff. But beyond that, don't creep out and go on to Zillow every day. Just calm down. You're going to be in good shape. So you got a year. So in 6 months or 9 months, you start looking. Okay. And call us back if you've got something big or something has changed that we didn't anticipate. All right.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right. If you would like to come on the Eye on Money show, just like Kim, and float a few different scenarios by us, we'd love to have you. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter, and you can follow this show, Eye on Money, also our sister broadcast, Jill on Money, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Mark Talercio, just that was him you heard, co-host, executive producer. We drop our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. We are distributed by CBS. Please do something nice for someone else today. Curiosity, compassion, community. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening.